In this part of the interview, Eric, I think the panelists will ask you questions regarding the subjects in your essay. For instance, your leadership, your networking, and your study in the UK plan and your career plan. And let's start with the leadership, right?
Yep.
In your leadership part, I believe that the first thing that you should do is define what leadership is for you.
True.
For me, for instance, leadership is about inspiring and moving people. And apart from that, you have to be able to identify your skills and traits as a leader. I think that's important, right?
Yeah, it's totally crucial. And I think that apart from that, you need to be able to identify a leadership role for you in your life. Could it be a public figure, or maybe a personal leader, someone in your family or in your work environment? It's essential that you can describe them as your role. But what makes a good leader role description?
Yeah, what makes a good?
I think it starts, first of all, with the context. You have to explain what is that makes this person a leader, what is it that they do out there. Then you have to explain what are those skills that you have seen on them that you can say, well, that's what makes him or her a leader. It might help in the case of the public figure if it's someone known, but not necessarily. I mean, if you're able to describe their context and their skills, you will turn out
good to go.
Right? Yeah, you will be good to go anyway.
And besides that, right, you also should mention your leadership skill role. Oh, you should give an example of how
of yourself,
right? And it doesn't actually differentiate a lot from your leadership role. You still need to draw a context of yourself, right? And you shouldn't also spend more than 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's enough.
That is enough, right? But what's differentiate here, when you give your example, is the challenges that you as a leader have faced, how you confronted it, and the outcome. That's really important, the outcome. And not forgetting that you still have to present or demonstrate the skills and the traits that you should demonstrate or present as a leader, right? And I remember in my interview, I mentioned about 3 traits as a leader that I have. That I lead by example, I'm an inclusive leader, and I have compassion towards people. After mentioning that, I back up with the examples or the context where I lived
on how you developed
those traits. Yes, right?
Yeah, that's very good. I think it's essential to talk about that real life situation in which those things happen. And talking about situations, it's essential to understand that leaders out there cannot please everyone, which essentially means that you will face challenges as a leader. Sometimes it's about people management, maybe expectations management, which could be an issue. Sometimes the team is inexperienced, but also the leader is inexperienced. And you got to be able to talk about those situations and how they could affect you while being a leader. And there's a particular one I want to talk about. It's about unpopular decisions that leaders have to make.
Because you can't please everyone, right?
Yeah, you can't please everyone. Sometimes it happens. You need to make a decision that your team does not like. But you can still be a leader while doing so. If you have to describe the situation, we take the same approach. Remember to describe the context in 30 seconds. Then talk about what was the challenge there, how you confront that challenge, and what was the outcome, how it turned out to be. Highlight the skills that you put into practice there, and the difference here would be to talk about what you learned from that situation. Though that kind of things where you make unpopular decisions, things that people do not like, will give you a lot of knowledge or experience that you could put into practice on the next circumstance.
I think just adding to your point, Eric, that I think I present as myself as a leader as well, that I like to share what I have learned with people. And I think it's important that if you maybe mention this as well as one of I mean, if you do that, it's important for you to share this trait, that you as a leader, you share knowledge with your team. It's very important, because it's not only about you, it's about the people you lead,
the people
improving the people that you lead. Right? Is lifting people up. That's what I believe that leadership is about.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Then I think it's enough about leadership. We could go to the next section, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Let's go.